Well, hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. My name is John, and I'm the Executive Director of Breakthrough Silicon Valley. And I'm excited for the hour or so that's ahead of us. We've got a really great group of stakeholders here. So we have um, a couple of our students and some are teaching fellows, as well as a member of our summer faculty who will be part of a panel discussion in just a little bit. And we've got some breakthrough parents on the line, as well as some breakthrough partners and people who've been supporting breakthrough for a long time. So I really look forward to the conversation. Um, I am just going to share my screen now for a PowerPoint deck, which we're going to run through just to give a brief overview, and then we'll get right into the panel discussion, which I know is always the highlight. So my job is to frame this up, make sure you have the right context, and then let our students and teaching fellows take over from there. So bear with me while I share my screen. Okay. Johnny, can I just ask you to chime in and make sure you can see the full screen of my slides?
Yep, all good.
Perfect. All right, let's get started then. So again, welcome, and we'll do this brief overview. After about 11 minutes, we will pause on the presentation, and then Johnny will, my colleague Johnny, who's our development manager at Breakthrough, will share a link to a YouTube video, which is about 3 minutes. So you can stay on this Zoom call, you'll stay on mute, we'll watch the video, which just gives a glimpse into some of our summer classrooms and what the dynamic of the summer program is all about. And then we'll come back to our panel discussion. And I'd also like to invite everyone, just as we would with our students, if you feel comfortable, to please share your cameras. If you're not, that's okay. But it is helpful for us to connect with each other because we're about community at Breakthrough. If you're not able to share your video, I totally understand. We're all coming to this from different places. Okay. Well, let's jump in. And just as a reminder, at Breakthrough, we have a dual mission. And the first part of our mission is to support motivated, talented, low-income young adults to have academic success in high school and in college. And the second part of that mission is to inspire young people, college and high school age students, to become future educators. And I hope that one of the takeaways from today will be how closely connected those two parts of our mission really are. That our teaching fellows and our students teaching students model is really the rocket fuel for how we help our students lay a foundation for their ongoing academic success and their college futures. So by way of just quick overview and history, for those of you maybe newer to Breakthrough, Breakthrough Silicon Valley is an independent 501c3 nonprofit organization. We're based in San Jose, and all the students we serve live in San Jose. We are part of a national breakthrough collaborative, which is about 25 affiliated sites across the country. So we get to do what's right for our students and our communities and partner with our districts, but we also get to learn from other breakthrough sites across the country. So it's really the best of both worlds there. We opened in San Jose in 2002 at San Jose Unified School District, and then 10 years later expanded. So we're serving students from Franklin McKinley and Eastside Union High School District as well. And currently we're serving about 570 students across 7th through 12th grades. And those are across our two program sites in San Jose. So we've grown significantly since 2002. And we have a growing alumni base, about 350 alumni who graduated from the Breakthrough High School program. Most of those are in college, making progress towards their degree. Many of them have graduated from college and are making their way in the professional world. It's really exciting to see what they're doing with their careers. So in terms of why Breakthrough exists, we exist because there is a gaping opportunity gap that many members of our community face when it comes to accessing higher education. And the underlying assumption here that I just want to make clear is that study after study shows that a college degree is still the most powerful lever for helping somebody become upwardly mobile economically. So we exist to help more people access that college degree, which we know is important to ongoing success. And we think about that opportunity gap and the needs of our students in terms of really three different dimensions. So one is family resources. We know already that low-income students complete college at a much lower rate than higher income peers. Just 1 in 10 low-income young adults in our community in Silicon Valley will graduate from college by the time they are 25, which lags well behind higher income peers. We also know that those low-income students are more likely to attend under-resourced schools. Because of the way we fund education in California, we're underfunding education across the board, I would argue, but the way that funding is determined, often the schools serving the higher need students have the fewer resources to do that work. So that is inequity in the way that we fund education. And then there's a first-gen experience, which factors in that, unlike myself, for example, I had parents and community members to lean on to help show me the way and role model what it means to navigate high school in a way that sets me up for college success. And then also, I knew what kind of colleges to go to. For first-gen college students, they're very capable of being successful in high school and getting into and succeeding in college. We have so many data points and stories to share that. They just need a different set of resources to help them along the way. And that's where Breakthrough comes in, where our students are really at the intersection of these three factors in terms of the opportunity gap of family, educational inequity, and the first-gen experience. So quickly, our program is 6 years long, has a lot of elements to it, and we could be here all day talking about it, but I'm just going to very quickly say that our program is a year-round program that starts the summer before 7th grade and extends all the way into college enrollment. We believe that the middle school years and also the transition to high school are essential for success. We help our students create an academic foundation in the summer programs. We also help them belong to a community of peers, which will keep them motivated and connected to learning for the rest of the time in the program. We support students with tutoring, with academic goal setting. Our college advising program really picks up later in high school, where we have 2 full-time college advisors to serve our students and their families. And then this year, we'll be extending our services to help the class of 2020 succeed through the first year of college. So I know that was very fast. And we are going to have a Q&A later, so you'll have an opportunity to ask your questions, and I'm always happy to talk more later on. Underlying all this program is our students teaching students model, which you'll hear a lot about today. So it's worth addressing here. The teachers for our rising 7th and 8th grade students, as well as the 9th grade students that you'll talk with today, are all teaching fellows. So these are college or high school age students who want to be leaders in their community and are interested in education as a career path. And so they come to Breakthrough to learn about teaching. And they create this amazing dynamic with their students, where our students are drawn in to learn from these teaching fellows who they can relate to. They understand pop culture and they understand where I am as a young person in a way that maybe their school year teachers don't connect. So here's some numbers about our teaching fellow core this year. It's a very diverse group, and more diverse than the core of teachers teaching in the community, for example. And they represent some really impressive colleges, which then they get to talk to our students about the colleges that they're going to and how they got there and how they're being successful in college. So they're also college-going role models, as well as teachers. And it works. Our students are going to college at high rates that exceed those of other first-gen students. They're persisting in college at rates that exceed those of other first-gen students. And we are also proud of our teaching fellows who oftentimes, as a result of their Breakthrough experience, will go on to either teach or work in other organizations or settings where they're supporting education of young people. last comment here before we go to the video about our virtual program. We really took a hard look at the needs of our students and what we could deliver in a virtual setting. This summer program is well known for being very relationship focused and a lot of community building. And so we knew it was going to be a challenge to do that virtually. But we thought that we had some really great assets that would help us do this well. And some of those assets are teaching fellows, which you'll hear from in a little bit. But we started with our student needs. We knew that over a third of our students told us that they didn't have access to a device to access learning. We began to be concerned that some students were missing out on content because of distance learning. And we knew through conversations that students' motivation was dipping because of distance learning in schools. And they lacked that connection and interaction with peers and mentors and other adults. We also knew there was a possibility that if we hit it too hard this summer, that our students might burn out because of Zoom fatigue, which is a real thing for workers and young people alike. So our virtual summer program, we really benefited from the help of our community, and we got product and also financial donations to get iPads and Chromebooks into the hands of all of our students who needed a device this summer, which was huge. We've decided to focus our academics on math and also high school prep, which is a special breakthrough program, which we'll hear more about, that supports our students to land well in high school and transition and make that huge transition well. We knew we had small classes that would facilitate the relationship building and the mentorship that our students were craving. And we built more of that mentorship and hangout time into our schedule. And then we gave our students a lot of breaks. They were never in front of their screen for more than an hour and a half. And we shortened the learning day for our students over previous summers. Okay, so that was the quick overview of Breakthrough and then our approach this summer. And I think some of that will come to life in the video we're about to see and also in the panel discussion. So Johnny has just shared the link to the YouTube video. And I invite you now to stay on the Zoom call, but stay on mute and click the link. And then we'll watch the video. It's 3 minutes long. And we'll come back here at 4:49 to reconvene with our panel. Thank you so much and enjoy the video. Give me a thumbs up if you've completed the video. Good, okay. It looks like we're ready to resume. And so it is my pleasure to introduce our panel of guests, which I will do one by one. I'll ask you to introduce yourself. And if you can make sure that you're off of mute and that your camera is on. And then, so I'll start with the introductions. And so can I have our two students start? So Catherine, can we start with you? Could you introduce yourself, your name, and where you go to school?
My name is Catherine. I'm a rising 9th grader and I'm going to Independence High School.
Great, and I'll move it over to Joshua.
Hello everyone, my name is Joshua and I'll be attending Archbishop Mitty High School this upcoming year.
Great. Thank you, Joshua and Catherine, for joining us. Your summer program actually wrapped up last week, so thanks for staying with us a little further. We're glad to have you. Appreciate it. We also have two teaching fellows who've been teaching our students this summer. So I'll have actually Angela Rascon introduce herself first. Angela, this is your third summer with Breakthrough, right? Great. Please introduce yourself.
Hello all, I am a rising junior at St. Mary's College of California. My name is Angela Rascon, and this is my third year here at BTSV as a teaching fellow.
Great. And then also Ashley Sanchez, could you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Ashley Sanchez. This is my first Breakthrough summer, but I am also an alumnus of Breakthrough, and I go to Sacramento State University.
Great. Some of our Breakthrough students choose to do the teaching fellowship, not all of them, but it's fun when there's overlap there. So looking forward to exploring it with you later, Ashley. And then David Tarula, who's been our Dean of Faculty for the 9th grade program, is also on the call. David, could you introduce yourself and maybe give us a little snippet of what your role means? Like, what does a dean of faculty do?
Hello, everyone. I'm David Arola Chavez. This is my, I guess, 11th summer with Breakthrough. Started off as a teaching fellow. I was an instructional coach, dean of students, and now dean of faculty. And what dean of faculty means is that as far as like the teaching fellows are concerned, I am in charge of the whole staff and their development. And so every Wednesday we did professional development, also checked in on them during their lessons and gave feedback and gave them opportunities for growth.
Great. David and his colleagues, we also have instructional coaches who are part of the summer staff, really help us add value to the teaching fellowship in terms of a professional development opportunity for our teaching fellows. So David and some of his colleagues who have been teaching remotely with technology, teaching similar grade levels and topics for the past several months since March. They came to Breakthrough this summer with some tried and true methods and pedagogy and really helped us hit the ground running. So David, I just want to say thank you to you for being the lead of that group of amazing instructional coaches. The impact on our students was tremendous. So thank you. I'm glad you're here. So I have some questions that I'll get us started with. I would also invite our guests to, as you have questions, please share them in the chat box. Johnny will be monitoring the chat box for questions. And after a few questions, I will invite him to read off some of those that are in the chat box. So please do, as you have a question, just share it, and then we will get to as many as we can. If we have a lull, I have many questions, so we can keep going. But I'll start with our students. And Joshua, maybe I'll start with you with this question. Can you tell us maybe why you originally decided to apply for Breakthrough and why it's important for you to go to college?
I originally decided to apply to Breakthrough because I'm not, well, when I do go to college, I will not be a first generation. My mom went to college, but she's still attending college. She's doing it very slowly, and I feel like I'm learning college with her as she's learning as well. So I feel like the second help from Breakthrough would benefit me in the long run. So I can have my own information. I definitely feel like the college is definitely a challenge. So I definitely don't want my mom to have to experience both of herself and mine. So Breakthrough was extremely helpful with that because I feel like she could focus on her college and then I can focus on mine eventually. What was the second question, John?
That was it. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
I appreciate that. Catherine, I wonder if I can direct the same question to you of why you decided to apply for Breakthrough in the first place.
So normally, I wasn't gonna join Breakthrough, but my parents really pushed me to join Breakthrough because my mom and my dad didn't go to college because they were in like hard points in their life because my mom has like 10 siblings. And it wasn't like normal for my parents, both my parents, because they have a lot of siblings, to go to college because their parents were kind of struggling with money. So my parents thought that this was a great opportunity for me to go to Breakthrough because the presentation that they told like my school and plus the notes that I showed my parents, it was like it looked good. Like it looked good for me to go join and be around those type of communities. So my parents really pushed me to do it and really encouraged me to just like take a risk and see if it's gonna be good for my future. And so far it's really good. And I've met a lot of people and a lot of teaching fellows that really encouraged me to do better. And I've been better. And I really learned a lot of stuff, especially from Breakthrough with college, how to do better, and especially preparing me for high school since I'm going to high school this year. So it's been a good time with Breakthrough, and I really appreciate like my parents encouraging me to go here because it was like a good risk, and I love it here.
Thanks, Catherine. I love the truth in that answer and also the perspective that you bring. So thanks so much. And we're glad you're part of our community too. Angela, maybe I'll start with you in terms of teaching fellows. This is your third summer with Breakthrough, and it's really rigorous. And we give our teaching fellows a stipend, but it's not a lot. So what keeps you coming back to Breakthrough, and how does this fit with your career goals?
Thank you, John. So I do want to be part of, into the realm of education, but I didn't know where exactly I wanted to do that. I was a junior in high school when I heard about Breakthrough, and I'm actually an FMSD student, so many of the schools that the students go to, I actually went to, but because the program began at FMSD a little bit later than it did at SJUSD, I wasn't able to be part of the cohort. And that's why I'm not a Breakthrough student, because I am first gen and I am low income. So when they came and they were talking about this program, I was like, wow, like I and I did it my first year and I absolutely fell in love with it. I loved the inside of the classroom teaching, what was about educational inequity and like how low income students are disproportionately affected by like the educational system. And so I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like I definitely belong here. It was definitely a long summer, but ultimately I had such a good time. I think it was long 6 weeks of the program, but I definitely knew I wanted to come back. And so I came back the following year and I taught 8th grade. And at that point, it was just one more summer until the students finished with their summer school program. So I was like, why not follow this cohort all the way through their summer program? And so I've known Josh now. I don't know. I just absolutely love it.
Angela, I'm sorry, you're cutting in and out. So I'm going to move us on and maybe you can try to go off and come back on. But what you did say is you've known Joshua now for 3 years. It's the third summer that you've worked with him, which is a really incredible and shows dedication to his journey as well as yours. Great. Ashley, I wonder if I can pass it over to you. And you said in your introduction that you're a Breakthrough student. What motivated you to become a teaching fellow, or like was there something about your student experience that made you decide to come and do this summer?
So I have a little blurb preparation ready. Okay, so I remember in my first Breakthrough summer, we were introduced to our crew. So this is me back in 7th grade. It was a mix of 7th and 8th graders in my crew, and I felt so little, like I was short, I was quiet, and I was shy. And I just wondered how I could be friends with such mature kids. So my crew leaders had us play competitive games such as Ninja, where you're in a circle and like whacking each other's arms and things like that. That game really helped me because I almost always won, surprisingly, which helped me become friends with the other people in my crew. By the end of the summer, we were such a tight-knit family that like it just made me feel more confident. The other students, the older students on my crew helped me with homework when I was stressed, and we all talked on the bus because we had a bus going to Hillbrook, a very nice school in Los Gatos. And this strong community I had in Breakthrough made me want to be a teaching fellow so I can pass along that feeling of family, which I hope Joshua and Kat felt, but we'll see.
Great, thanks. I love the imagery of that game, helping you build confidence and connection. That's amazing. That's why we think that fun is a really important part of learning and creating a college-going identity. So thank you, glad you're here. David, Ashley taught this summer our high school prep class, which is unique. We have core academic subjects usually, but these students are 9th graders getting ready to go to high school. And I'm wondering if you could talk to us a little bit about, from your experience as an educator, what's really important for students when they're transitioning to high school, and how is the high school prep class addressing that with Breakthrough students?
One of the many things that I've seen that students struggle with when transitioning into high school is not really envisioning themselves as college students or going to college to begin with. And one of the great things about the high school prep course is that it allows students to explore different colleges and universities where they did a project where they had to do research and then create a poster for them, allowing them to really start thinking about what is college, where do I go? And I've also seen a lot of students in the past not know what it is, what it means to be competitive or eligible to go to college. And so I talked to them their senior year, right when they're about to graduate, letting me know that they want to go to college or a university, yet they weren't like part of clubs, they didn't apply for scholarships, they didn't even apply for a 4 years sometimes. A lot of those students had no idea of what it took, and high school prep course really gets students thinking about their resume for college and really thinking about clubs and volunteering and what are the different things that they can do to make sure that they are eligible to go to college. You're on mute, John.
Yes, I was. Thank you. I'm going to ask Josh and Catherine if you can talk a little bit about, like, what are you nervous about the transition to high school? And if so, what about it? And what do you think that your breakthrough experience this summer helped you with in terms of thinking about that transition?
Okay.
So go ahead,
I'll
Josh, please.
go first. So I'm definitely extremely nervous. As a low to medium income student, I'm attending Archimedy High School, which is a private school. I'm attending there on an academic scholarship that Breakthrough helped me get. And I'm definitely extremely nervous because I'm coming from a public school district, and I'm extremely nervous about the change of classmates, change of area. But I definitely feel like that this is going to be a good transition because I feel like the smaller classroom settings that I saw when I went to that school really fit my needs and fit the kind of classroom environment that Breakthrough has to offer. So I definitely feel like that's beneficial for me. So when applying there, I definitely hope I got in, and I did. So I'm definitely extremely nervous for the transition, like anyone would be, but I'm definitely excited as well to see where it takes me, like Breakthrough did.
Great. Thanks, Joshua. Catherine, how about you? What are your thoughts in terms of transition to high school? What are you excited for? What are you nervous about? And how do you think Breakthrough will support you through that?
So I'm definitely nervous because I'm going to Independence High School, and it is a public school, but Independence High School is a really big school. It was supposed to be a college, but they made it into a high school, and there's a lot of people that I'll surround myself with, and there's a lot of personalities, and I'm definitely scared of that. So I don't know if I'll get along with a lot of people or if I'll like be friends, but I'm a pretty outgoing person, so I'm really excited like to talking to new people and like all that stuff and learning more about college. And I'm also excited about the clubs that they have because since it's a big school, there's also a lot of clubs, and I'll just Breakthrough is going to help me with high school. And I'm definitely nervous because I'm really scared because there's a lot of big words when it comes to college, and I don't even know what to major in and all of that. So I really hope that Breakthrough can help me with all of that and go to the job that I'm going to, or like I'm planning to go to. And yeah.
Thanks, Catherine. So one more question about the transition to high school, and this I want to direct to Ashley. You taught the high school prep class, which we've been kind of talking about, and I'm wondering if there's a particular lesson or class day that you're particularly proud of, and how you think that's going to support your students in the transition.
Well, I am very proud of, so one of our lessons was about how to write a professional email, which means writing your subject line, which isn't what you put your whole email on, which one of my students did. It was hard to read it. a greeting, your body, it has to have like professional language, a salutation, so like the ending and your name. Also important, what I showed them is that if you're emailing your teacher, you need to include your student ID number, which they will have, your block or period number, because there are so many students and they're not going to know who you are. So if you want them to promptly answer back, that's some information that you need to put. And Mackenzie would mention to me that, oh, wow, like like some of these students have like such great emails thanks to all the high school prep teachers. So I'm always like proud to read those emails and be like, yep, those are my kids right there.
That's great. I love that example. We always comment as staff after that lesson has been delivered, the quality of emails. Dear John, I hope this finds you well. I'm writing in regards to, so it really does make a huge difference, and it helps our students advocate for themselves in school and well beyond that. So great job. I'm sure that a lot of our guests are interested in how the virtual engagement worked and how we built community and how we built relationships virtually. So Angela, I might go to you because in the video you said that you were really, one of the things you enjoyed most was exploring the different technology that you could use in the classroom. And so I'm wondering if you could share a bit about kind of like your takeaways about how you, as a teaching fellow, help the students engage and made it feel like a normal class, in your words.
Okay, and if my Wi-Fi cuts me off, please put it in the chat box. I'm using hotspot and Wi-Fi, so hopefully it doesn't happen again. But definitely, I was definitely very surprised because, I am a third year, I'm a returner, so I know what the breakthrough spirit feels like. I know what the vibe at ASM is. And I can say, like, I can stand here before you all or virtually and say that it was very, very, very similar. Like, the teaching fellows were very accommodating, and we made sure that we were implementing things into the classroom that were engaging for the students. We all know what it is to have classes online because all our classes were online too, and they are nothing. I'm very glad to say that none of the classes that I had back in spring semester were similar to ours. We were able to implement Nearpod and have an engaging class. We were also able to bring in games like Spyfall, which I'm sure Catherine loves. And so we did that in like different courses and for different reasons. And we would also, be like, oh, do you want to be co-host if we play this game? You have the privilege of being co-host, and just try to motivate students in that way. So I'm not the best at technology, but it was definitely a really good change.
David, I know a lot of the technology and the suite of products that we used were things that you use with your colleagues through the school year. And so I'm wondering if you can share just a little bit, like, what do you think your priorities were, knowing breakthrough students as well as you do, for their engagement over the summer? And how did you and the instructional coaches work with teaching fellows to try to make that happen?
From past experience, I think a little bit like Angela, like thinking about the summer and just thinking about the student engagement and how that's really, really important. I feel like in the past, the teaching fellows were always very engaging with their students. And that's what's the difference between a breakthrough summer school class and a regular school year class. Since the classes are so small, teachers have more opportunity to engage with the students, and students get more of that talk time, which is really important in learning. And so with the other instructional coaches, we were just thinking about what are some techniques and some tools that we can give the teachers for engagement. Because it's really easy to just kind of like stare at a blank screen and not really fully understand what's going. And so the teachers did an amazing job this summer with, still checking for understanding and making sure that they're asking students different questions in different ways, like drawing pictures or sending it in the chat box or having them unmute themselves. And so we really wanted to make sure that the teachers were engaging the students more frequently than they would have had it been in person.
Great, thank you. Maybe I'll turn to Joshua and Catherine, and I'd love to hear a little bit about your experience learning from a distance. So maybe I'll start with Joshua. Was there what do you, so distance learning is a very different skill set, and no one's like looking over your shoulder, so to speak. So I guess, what have you learned about yourself as a learner, and as a person, as a result of kind of shelter in place and school closure and distance learning at school or at Breakthrough, either one?
I feel like that I've learned that I can handle a lot more responsibility than I thought I could. Um, it was definitely hard to like wake up, take a shower, get ready, make sure my iPad's charged, make sure my background looks professional. So it was definitely a lot more responsibilities when going into online classes. But I definitely think the experience was extremely helpful. My mom and dad were able to help me out and show me how they do it, especially because my dad works in retail. My mom's a teacher herself. So to learn from them was extremely helpful. And I think I learned skill sets that not a lot of kids get to learn at my age. And I feel like that this will definitely help me a lot when it comes to my job and college later down the road.
Josh, what do you think those skill sets are?
Man, it's using your words, because like I feel like in person you get to express yourself a bit more, but when it comes to like technology and talking to someone over the phone, it's definitely a lot harder. So I feel like, especially someone who loves to talk to breakthrough TFs and breakthrough students, I found it definitely very hard to talking and get that bond, that relationship over a Zoom call. But I definitely feel like the math and the HSP classes were definitely edited and changed in a way so we still had that bond. Like I feel like that the bond was still there that Breakthrough provides, and I feel like that is definitely important to learn. Also, again, HSP, it being online, I feel like it gave us more ways to learn, especially when it comes to online, because now I definitely write a lot better professional emails than I did before. So that class definitely helped. So
Great.
when I email John McKenzie, they definitely see the difference.
Nice. Thank you, Joshua. Catherine, I'm wondering if you could answer the same question. And is there anything that you think that you've either been surprised by or learned about yourself while learning learning online?
Virtual learning wasn't my favorite. I would say that because I'm really outgoing and I always love bothering my teachers, like always, especially in person. I still bothered them online, but I feel like I could bother them more in real life. But it wasn't my favorite, but I learned from it. Like I learned that like it was hard getting up, like Joshua said. It was like, oh my god, I could sleep in more, like nobody's looking at me, nobody like is gonna push me to like wake up. But Breakthrough had this rule that if you're late or like absent for like 2 days, you're kicked off out of the program. So that kind of scared me, so I just got up, and I learned that, even though I was like always lazy and I always wanted to sleep, that I still had that place to change. I still had the space to be like engaged. And when I got to learn my teaching fellows more throughout like this virtual summer, I was kind of looking forward like to getting up, even though like sometimes I'm just like lazy, I still get up and I still bother my teachers. And I learned that like myself, I learned that even though it's still far away, you could still make connections that's like just virtually. And I still learned a lot of stuff. It's like, if anything, I feel like I learned more about myself this virtual summer more than like any other summer, be it like Breakthrough. But every summer Breakthrough was still good. But I feel like this one wasn't my favorite, but it was still like the best. It was still like really good, and I still loved it. And I love bothering all my teaching fellows. That's
what a conundrum. Not your favorite, but you may have learned the most about yourself through it.
Yes.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Thank you. So again, just a reminder, if you have questions for students or teaching fellows or David or staff, please feel free to share those in the chat. We have about 12 minutes left, but I have more questions, so I'll keep going. Students, I'm wondering, and I'm going to bring this to actually all of you, because all of you are just so deeply steeped in breakthrough. So maybe I won't start with students. I wonder if I'll start with Ashley. Can you share from your breakthrough experience as a student, because you've now gone through the whole program, you're about to start your second year at Sac State. Is there a highlight from your breakthrough experience that stands out that really made a difference for you?
Honestly, I think it was just like, I love the summers. Like every single summer, I think except ninth grade year, it was really amazing. But I think my highlight was making those bonds with adults, with Brian Tomlinson, with Mackenzie, with Johnny, weirdo. Yeah, with all of those different people. Oh, Tina, Dora, all of them. I think it's just I think I don't know how to explain it, but it's a good skill to have for me to like be comfortable with talking to adults, because at first, I don't know, they made me nervous. Like if someone calls me in, I'm just like, did I do something wrong? But that was my highlight. I feel like I can talk to Brian about literally anything. I'm always picking on Johnny. Like, yeah, I think making me feel comfortable and professional in front of adults is a big highlight from Breakthrough.
Great, thank you. Anela, I'll go to you next. In your 3 summers, is there a highlight that you can point out that you think has made a difference for you?
Yeah, definitely. And I do understand what Ashley said completely, like getting to socialize with older people when you find them so intimidating, and like normalizing those relationships is definitely very helpful. For me, I think it's building those bonds with the students and continuing to have those and formulating them through 3 years. So like I said, I don't know if y'all heard me, but I said this cohort, the 2024 cohort, is like my cohort. In my head, I'm like, oh, I'm part of the 2024 cohort. But because I've been following them for 3 years, so I've seen their growth and they've also seen mine. So I wasn't even a freshman when they met me yet. So it was my upcoming freshman year, and I would be so nervous every single, like the first day of breakthrough. I don't think Josh was in this class, but my first day of breakthrough, when I got up there and I started talking, I was so nervous, and I never envisioned myself in front of a classroom, or I never saw myself as a leader. But doing this internship, this fellowship through that summer just really put me in a position where I knew I could lead a class, knew I could plan curriculum, knew I could follow up with that curriculum, lesson planning and executing those lessons. So not only is it like me seeing the students' growth, but they've also seen my growth through college. And I tell them, and we still follow up, they'll email me and they're like, Angela, did you do XYZ that you said you would do? And I was like, I did. And I like to talk to them about college and give them that access into higher education that they may not have.
Great. Maybe I'll end with a student. So David, can you go next to share kind of a highlight from your deep breakthrough experience? David was a teaching fellow, and then he was a staff member, or as an instructional coach, and then a staff member, and then back in the instructional coach role. So you've seen all aspects of the program.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about the Breakthrough Summer is just seeing the amount of growth that a student has in such a short amount of time. I'm just thinking about a student in particular right now, where when we had the new family welcome night, which is when we bring all the students that were accepted into the program and into their cohort to meet each other and meet the staff, we had them in a circle so that they can introduce themselves, and instantly she started crying. And she was crying because she was just so shy, was like really scared about talking. She was really scared to talk in front of everyone. And then by the end of the summer, she was the one that was like the most outspoken. She was the one advocating not only for herself, but for her classmates. And she was constantly saying, I'm noticing this, can we do this? And just the fact that she was able to grow so much in such a short period of time is what I love the most about Breakthrough.
I too love those stories of the very shy student on day 1 of the program, and then by the end of the celebration, they're addressing 150 people, showing off their talent or making a speech. It's really incredible. Great. I think I will come to Catherine next. I'm wondering if you can share maybe just a quick highlight of your breakthrough experience so far. and how you think that's made a difference for you.
I had a lot of highlights, but last year, I mean, this year was good, but last year was like my best year. I'm just saying. But last year we won Olympics. It's like, I love how Breakthrough isn't just all about learning. Like, I guess I love learning, but you know, like, it's like more about making connections. Like, their top priority is like learning, but then the top is like learning to communicate with your teachers, your fellows, like your peers. And that's what I really love about Breakthrough. And last year we won Olympics, and we were gonna win the Spirit Torch too, but then I guess, you know, something happened. But like, you guys, but we won Olympics, and I was like really happy about that. And it was just my crew last year. My crew last year was just the best crew, Crew 7, my heart. It was just a really good time to connect with my peers, and we would make jokes. And we had a lot of inside jokes, and just the fact that I grew with the community for 3 years, and I look different from like 6th grade to like 8th grade, and everyone just accepts like your flaws and like your weakest point, and everyone just helps you grow as a person. And that's like what I really love, is that they don't like judge you for anything, and they just help you. And I just love Breakthrough so much. I love my peers. I love my teaching fellows. I will never forget them. I will never forget that we won Olympics last year. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Catherine. I love the way you put that. Our top priority, but then our top priority is community building. And we really do think that the community and the fun and that accepting environment is really essential for learning. So thanks for pointing that out. Joshua, would you be able to answer this question, a highlight of your Breakthrough experience so far?
Yeah. This experience comes hand in hand with one of my most favorite nights of Breakthrough. I've been a part of Breakthrough for 2, going on my 3rd year. But so far, I've been able to participate every year in a night called the Are You Smarter charity event that Breakthrough held. During this, we basically, in the beginning, get to know some of the people who are interested in Breakthrough, who want to learn more about it. And during this time, I found that I've grown the most during this time. I get to get dressed up. It gives me a time to practice how to tie a tie. Still learning, but I'm getting there. I get to learn how to network with adults. Something that I think I've learned faster than most of my other peers that are at my school. Networking. Right now, in the back of my room, I have a little folder full of cards that I've received from that night. I have ones from people who work in a political standpoint, people who are principals at schools. I have a card from a principal that I was looking into as a high school. So really, that night completely combined everything that was important to learn into a couple of hours. So I definitely enjoy going there every year. I always look forward to coming around to go do it. It's never something that I'm questioning about doing. It's something that I always jump to opportunity to go do. So that's definitely my most favorite experience at Breakthrough.
Awesome. Thank you, Joshua. We are coming down to it. And I really just want to say congratulations to the teaching fellows for the really incredible work that you did this summer. I think we came into the summer with a really good framework for a summer program, but you helped put the meat on the bone, so to speak, of actually developing the lesson plans and actually building the relationships that both Catherine and Joshua have talked about, and also Ashley of being difference makers. David, thank you for joining us tonight, and also for your hard work of support of our students and teaching fellows. It's really incredible every year we get to have amazing master educators like you and your colleagues to be part of our community and to make sure that we're teaching in the most relevant way possible. And then Joshua and Catherine, congratulations. It's a big transition into high school. And I think hearing you say what you're learning about yourself already and the level of self-awareness that you're bringing to it, it gives me really high expectations and hopes for you, that you'll find your people, you'll get involved, and you'll be a huge part of your high school communities too. So thank you all so much for joining us. I think we'll end on that note. I'm happy to stay on for a couple minutes if anyone has other questions to follow up. But from Breakthrough, really appreciate all of you taking interest in our work this summer in supporting our students and our teaching fellows. We'll follow up with an email if you are looking to stay connected with Breakthrough. We have some things coming up later. For example, on Friday, we'll be celebrating the graduating class of 2020 with our senior celebration. And if you would be interested in joining that ceremony, you'd be welcome to do that as well. So we'll follow up with those links. But thank you so much for joining, and we hope you have a great night.